O segundo painel desse evento é intitulado A Importância de Boas Práticas de Manutenção de UEPs e teremos 3 apresentações. A primeira é do nosso patrocínio master desse evento, da ProfSef, o Michael Christensen vai começar falando utilizando o UMS para melhorar a eficiência. Depois teremos a Cusco falando de nova geração do UMS e finalmente a UMOE, o Svein, falando do futuro da logística de pessoal offshore. Please.
Bom dia a todos. E obrigado a Sobena pelo convite. Foi bem interessante hoje de manhã. Eu vou falar um pouco de... Não sei se... Não o meu. Não, o vídeo? Não. Isso, acho que para depois. Bom, eu vou falar um pouco sobre a aplicação de UMS. Primeiro, quem tem na... tá. Qual é? Primeiro, que o UMS é uma definição que foi inventada pela Petrobras faz uns 8, 9 anos, e significa unidade de manutenção e segurança. Basicamente é um estaleiro flutuante que tem a função de fornecer, aumentar a segurança e possibilitar o aumento de pessoal a bordo fazendo a obra. E também aumentar a produtividade com melhores condições a bordo, inclusive também logística a bordo, oficinas, conveys, escritórios. E sabemos todos que o objetivo das operadoras aqui no Brasil é de estender a vida útil das unidades de produção e, ao mesmo tempo, assegurar que se evita paradas de produção. ProSafe, quem somos? ProSafe é a maior empresa na área de semi-submersíveis, UMS. Estamos envolvidos do nível global em vários projetos de manutenção. Aqui no Brasil iniciamos em 2011 e temos hoje duas embarcações, Safe Notus e Safe Concórdia. Temos escritório nível global, mas Brasil para nós é ainda um mercado fundamental. A nossa frota tem mais ou menos as 6 unidades nossas são praticamente novas e aplicaremos as 6 unidades têm presença aqui no Brasil e do Mar do Norte. Aqui no Brasil temos Safe Notus operando para Petrobras e Safe Concórdia para Modic aqui no Brasil. Olhando o mercado global, temos mercados primeiros ou principais, Inglaterra e Noruega, e também olhamos o Brasil como um dos mercados principais. Além disso, México tem uma importância para nosso mercado. Espontaneamente também a Austrália tem demandas. Olhando um pouco do histórico do Brasil, em 2007, 2008, começou o trabalho da Petrobras. Foi estabelecido um grupo de trabalho para preparar o uso de UMS. Esse trabalho foi iniciado com TNV, e lembro bem que um executivo da Petrobras falou uma coroa. E com esse trabalho, logo depois, 2010, pode ser uma coincidência, mas o incidente do mercado aconteceu um pouco antes da primeira contratação de 3 UMS em 2011. E interessante é que a correlação entre o preço do petróleo e o uso de UMS está bastante consistente entre o 2011 e o ano 2017, 2018. Agora temos uma reação um pouco atrasada de uso de UMS no Brasil. Petrobras tem feito uma evolução de CTT, do especificação técnica de UMS, e os requisitos que se demanda da Petrobras. Hoje em dia, se exige um semissubmersível com guindaste de 100 toneladas, espaço de convés de 1.500 metros quadrados, DP3 e 6 thrusters, 6 geradores para elevar a redundância da unidade. O resultado é que 100% da conectividade, 100% do tempo a unidade pode ficar conectada e também resulta de melhor segurança do mar. Olhando do histórico, com essa evolução de especificação técnica da Petrobras, do início da fase onde a Petrobras começou a aplicar UMS em 2011, se contratava por falta de disponibilidade de embarcações de alta pedral, se contratava ship-shaped e semissubmersível de DP2. Mas o novo patamar foi criado pela Petrobras durante os anos, e em 2015, onde se operavam 9 embarcações aqui, houve uma série de especificações técnicas diferentes que foram reduzidas a uma especificação técnica hoje, que é DP3, como mostrei antes. Então, Petrobras conseguiu uma melhorada de qualidade da frota que existe hoje, apesar que somente tem 3 operando hoje. Além de Petrobras, também tem vários usuários de UMS, como outros operadores, como Equinor, como Shell, como Modec, como SPM. Mas esses operadores têm demandas tipicamente de 3 até 6 meses de período. E até hoje não existe uma colaboração entre esses operadores. Nossa experiência é que uma semissubmersível fornece uma operação muito mais estável em comparação com uma embarcação como um navio. E, além disso, também uso de guindaste a bordo, espaço de convés, oficinas, escritório, tem bastante uso dos outros usuários de flotel, ou UMS. Então, nossa visão do mercado seria que se envolve um mercado spot, um mercado que pode ser um arranjo de clube, porque o maior desafio de mobilizar uma embarcação ao Brasil é o custo de mobilização. Então, estamos nesse momento promovendo uso de embarcação Safe Concórdia para uma estadia de longo prazo no Brasil. O ideal seria se os usuários poderiam coordenar as demandas e os períodos para oferecer uma solução técnica superior do que existe em muitos casos hoje. E, obviamente, o benefício disso seria uma conectividade de 100% e melhor segurança no mar. Tem alguns pontos específicos para o Brasil para operar aqui. Isso é apenas alguns exemplos, mas a lista é longa. A possibilidade de trabalhar do dia à noite é difícil com um navio, mas com Safe Concórdia, que hoje trabalha com Modec, com gangway passivo, terá essa possibilidade. Além disso, Safe Concórdia está aprovado pela IBAMA hoje. Tem ausência do coral-sol, isso já é documentado. O coral-sol hoje em dia é um assunto que preocupa bastante a indústria inteira. E a altura de gangway de Safe Concórdia tem possibilidade de trabalhar com FPSO, com calado variado durante as campanhas. Também é um assunto bastante problemático para vários operadores do Brasil. E também achamos que rastreabilidade do pessoal é importante. Sabemos que alguns operadores usam rastreabilidade para medir a produtividade dos trabalhadores a bordo. E, além disso, importante, a segurança de pessoal do outro lado da unidade da produção é fundamental para a operação. Muito obrigado.
Convido o segundo palestrante, Lu Qingpeng, da Cosco.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, thanks to ProSafe, and also thanks to Sombena invited me for this presentation, and I apologize for my improper suit because my suitcase is still flying in the sky. So, sorry. It's my pleasure to have this presentation to you, and I'm from COSCO Shipping, Qidong Offshore. The yard is a major contributor on the offshore new building business. So my presentation will be contained with 4 parts. The first one is our company profile, and the second is our yard infrastructures, and our track record as well. And the fourth part is the most important, the collaboration with the ProSafe. So our yard, actually, you will see the timeline. We have about 40 years in shipping business, in ship repair and conversion business. And start from 2009, we start the offshore new building business. So actually, we have 10 years of new building experiences in China, and we have go through the peak tank and now the downturn. We have sufficient engineering capability, and we set up Offshore Research and Design Institute of China, which is a national enterprise technology center. So we call it the ODIC. and we have awarded many awards during past 10 years. We can provide the basic design, the detailed design, stability, calculations, etc., and supported by the popular software, which is have the connections with all the major clients in the world. And from the project management side, we can provide from contract award until the delivery. So it includes the HAC, QAQC, risk management, contract cost control, etc., until the delivery, including the commissioning, procurement, construction, etc. And this is also supported by the experienced engineer team and having qualified as inspectors, which is independent in the during the inspection. And we also approved have approved skilled workers, which are qualified by the DMV, ABS, etc. Our yard actually is a dual class qualified qualification certification yard. So we are qualified by the CCS and the DMV. And in 2014, we have gotten the share HAC Bring Grant. This is the recent years our achievement in the HAC side. So our target is that we design construction the unit is zero hazard. And we also establish our own golden rulers, life-saving rulers in 18 items, which is very easily for the workers to understand what is their behavior, what is the correct or what is incorrect. So our yard infrastructures, this is a broad view of our yard, the layout. And we have totally 1 million square meters area in our yard, which is including the 2 kilometers coastline, and the jetty side with 1,200 kilometers. And the water depth in the wharfage is about 11 meters. So this is capable to accommodate the most of offshore unit in the world. You will see the orange color arrow line, and this is showing the typical construction progress of a new offshore projects. So we will have the raw material receival from this jetty, and here we will have the pre-treatment of the raw material. The number 2 workshop is the covered workshop, is for the paneling and the steel cutting. Then we move this parts into the number 3 workshop for the mega block, which is up to 250 tons. This is limited by the crane on the top and the size of the workshop. In the meantime, we will have the outfittings like piping, outfitting structures fabricated in this number 4 workshop and go into the number 3 workshop to installation. Then we go to number 6. This area is the blasting and painting chambers. So after that, we will make all the mega blocks erected in the skidway. We have 2 skidway, number 7 and number 8, the 2 skidway. Or this will depend on our slot availability. If conditions is permit, then we will directly erect the unit in the dry dock. Here is the dry dock. And this dry dock is very suitable for the UMS. The size is, the width is 120 meters and the length is 170 meters. It's almost a square. So the part 3 of my presentation will show you our track records, which is supported by the previously just instruction, giving information about the engineering, HAC, QAQC, and our infrastructures. Our core business part is the offshore new building and the modular fabrication integrations. Of course, we are started, as mentioned, we are started offshore marine repair and conversion business, started from 40 years ago. So by support of the engineering and the technical side, and also HSE, QC sectors. So our products covered almost all the range of this offshore market, from the shallow water to the ultra deep water. So we can build the drilling units, different kinds of drilling units. This is the semi-cylindrical and the jackup units, and the FPS and the FPUs, and the shut tankers. This side is for production side, and this side is for the offshore engineering side. So we can build the heavy lift vessels, UMS, we call the accommodation unit, and drilling tender, pipeline vessels, etc., and the PSP, of course. And recently, the market hot point is the windmill installation vessels. So this we have 3 projects under progress. For the Brazilian market, we have delivered many projects which is serviced or currently served in the Brazil water. The 2 drilling units, shut tankers and P70, we built the hull, and the accommodation units, and this is recently will be delivered, the cargo transfer vessel. And of course, that for ProSafe, Safe Notos, that built by our shipyard, currently under the charter contract by Petrobras. I will also give you some information about the histories of between COSCO and the ProSafe in the partner, how we built the partnership during the last few years. So the first time we have cooperated with ProSafe is 2013 in November. We have signed 2 contracts for the new building of the UMS, named the Safe Notos and the Safe Eurus. And on 2016, we have delivered Safe Notos at the beginning of the year. And currently, Safe Notos is under the charter of the Petrobras. And 2016 August, we have assessed the ProSafe, tried to help them, and also we are also face the downturn of the market. So we are working together and also help the ProSafe to for ProSafe the company restructure. And 2016 in September, we have achieved the milestone of technical acceptance of Safe Eurus. End of 2016, ProSafe have acquired Access Offshore. So in ProSafe's fleet, they have increased the 2 new units, two new UMS, previously from Access Offshore. We call it now Safe Nova and the Safe Vega. So continuously during the 2017 and 18, the downturn of the market, COSCO and the ProSafe has strengthened our partnership. And in 2018, August, just a few months ago, we have concluded a package solution for delivery of Safe Eurus and Safe Nova and Vega. This is the Safe Nova and Vega, previously belongs to Access Offshore. So Safe Nova and Vega, they have similar data with the Safe Notos and the Safe Eurus. The capability of the POB is 500 persons. Variable deck load totally is 4,500, which is a little bit less than Safe Notos. And the class is the DMV, and the dynamic position is a class 3, DP3, and also these 2 units, they have the 8-point mooring system. So later I will introduce to you regarding the 2 sister vessels, Safe Notos and Safe Eurus, the main construction key milestones. So as mentioned, we have signed the 2 new building contracts for Safe Notos and Safe Eurus on the same day. And the delivery interval time is 6 months. So by seeing the construction milestone of Safe Notos, you will see that our capability of delivery, a high-end UMS can be make it within 26 months, which is, I believe, is very fast. We compare with the other competitive yard in the world. I think this kind of information is available in the market. Now, Euros. The following slides will give the introduction about the construction progress of Euros. So the key data of Euros is here. And as mentioned, it's equipped with a position system of DP3 plus 8-point mooring system. So it's can be operated in a very high efficiency. 500 POB capability in the accommodation area, with a single person room and a double person room, a 2-person room. This is some pictures. This is after built. This some new pictures. And each room has a window. We have the directly light access to the room. And during the construction and detail design and shop design, we have together with the process have optimized the design of all the machinery area to give as much as possible to give enough space for the future maintenance. Following the slide shows the key milestones during the construction of the Euros. So we have a steel cutting after contract signing on the 2014 August. And the following several months, we have started the key laying. In the meanwhile, we start to fabricate the other parts of the unit, like the accommodation modules and living quarter modules and the deck box, especially used for mechanical machinery room and the engine rooms. In 2015, July, almost after 1 year later, we have skid out the unit. The major construction method is that we build the unit, the pontoon on the skidway, and also the part of the columns, and connect with the bracing. So when all this completed, we skid from the skidway out into our semi-submersible launching barge, which is a lifting capacity of 12,000 tons. This is our semi-submersible launching barge. 3 days later actually, then we move the launching barge into the center of the river, and the barge and float over the unit. This unit is float over with the pontons and part of the columns and connect with the bracing. So in the parallel, we have completed the construction of the deck box and the living quarters. So after that, we will also install the part of the pontoon, the column, and install the prefabricated deck box. So this is a unit after install the deck box. The next step is we go into the dry dock with after install the whole deck box. This period we install a living quarter for accommodate 500 persons. Then we go out the docking for the pre-commissioning and the further detailed the commissioning with the living quarter on the board. Second time docking majorly continuously for the commissioning for various systems and also for the painting the hull, which will come to the 2016 April. After the second docking, then we go tour out for truss installation, and follow that is the sea trial and other tests for the whole unit. So by the date of September 26, we achieved the technical acceptance of Safe Eurus, and it means that the Safe Eurus now is ready for delivery. So this is the typical construction progress of the Safe Eurus. And meantime, as mentioned, we are building up the partnership with ProSafe, especially in this market downtime. Currently, we have 3 units from ProSafe laid up in our shipyard, named Safe Eurus and Safe Nova and Vega, as mentioned. And we are working, our working strategy is we need, together with the ProSafe, work as one team. So we established the layup procedure for the 3 units, and the punch clear and the common killing procedures, preservation procedures, which is very important during the layup period. And equipment maintenance procedure according to the major vendors' maintenance procedure, and the safety control and the environmental control. Also, for the delivery of the unit, we needed to set up the reactivation plan for all the 3 units. So our target, together with the ProSafe, our common target, is that we will deliver a high-end, high-spec UMS to the end users within time and within budget. Thank you.
Gostaria de convidar o último palestrante, o Svein Erik Mikland, da UMOE. No, this one this is the laser. Okay.
I think you just have to the middle one. Hello everybody. I have to apologize for not speaking Portuguese, and I'm not even going to try. But I understand if you have one of these, my English will be translated to Portuguese. So thank you to Subhana for inviting me. What we do, we are not focusing on really big units. What we try to do is to transport people with great comfort, and that's what we try to do. And this is what I'm going to talk to today, the future of offshore personnel logistics. We believe that the future of offshore personnel logistics will be moving from use of helicopters towards ship for the following reasons. And that is safety, comfort, workability, reduced cost, and competitive speed. It is a kind of a bold statement, but the reason we believe that is because we are receiving a push or a pull from the industry, not only here in Brazil, but for the rest of the world. So we see this is what they want. Our background, we started nearly 30 years ago as a shipyard to build military ships. And we have been a military shipyard, and not only shipyard, but also a military composite or fiber, composite yard for the various militaries around the world. By a few years ago, we was asked by the offshore wind industry, can you use your technology to reach the windmills and transfer people in a safe way? And there was a competition, and we won that competition, and after that we developed this vessel. So what I will do now, I will try to explain a bit of our technology, what we do, and how it is achievable. We are using what we call the SAS technology, and I believe that most of you guys are here as naval architects, so you most probably know what it is. It was developed early 60s, it has been a quite few vessels that have been built, most for the military, but also some ferries. Later, we haven't, the last few years, it hasn't been built that many for the reason that they are a bit more expensive. And the military did have focus on high speed, so that's why they needed it. It was the high speed that was what it was asked for. Okay, today it is, we have taken this technology a bit further because we don't only give high speed, but we also give, we can heave compensate the whole vessel by regulating the cushion. Okay, so what we have done, we are building the ships in carbon fiber or glass fiber. This is what is necessary to build a vessel that goes fast. I just need to move this one, it's so noisy. Okay, so then, so we build it in carbon fiber, and the beauty with that is that it's not like a steel plate. We are also designing the plate, so we can embed sensors. We can put all the different technology into the plate, and then we will cut it, and we will then build a ship of it. Not only that, but it has a very low signature, and the vessels we are building for the military, they are also stealth vessels. So that is a kind of a different technology and a different need, and we don't have that in the offshore wind or oil and gas. Also, the beauty with this is that it is, since we are lifting it up off the water, nearly like a hovercraft, then we don't have much resistance, so we will then have much less fuel consumption compared to other ships. Okay, I'll try to show this. Do you have to start it? Yeah. Okay, so this is the shipyard. We are in Norway, so part of Norway. This is, we believe, still the fastest warship in the world, built 10-15 years ago. And then, as I mentioned, we moved into the offshore wind market mainly for the reason that we are able to heave compensate the whole vessel, and we are able to then transfer people in a safe way. And here you can see what we are doing. We are pushing towards the windmill, and then when the wave wants to lift the vessel, then we just let the air out, and then we will not be moving up and down and catching the people climbing the ladder. Okay, this is a bit how it works. We take about 80% of the weight of the vessel and lift that out of the water. So the draft on this vessel, when it is lifted up, is about 80 centimeter. And we then fill this space here with air, and we control that. So as soon as we have a lift on the vessel, we just let the air out. When the vessel is coming down again, when the wave disappears, we will fill the empty space with air. And that is done like 15 times per second. So it is extremely well. And this is just some videos. So the normal draft on this vessel is about 3 meters when it's off cushion, and when it's on cushion, it is 80 centimeters. Okay, so what we call it is CES technology. It is a combination of a hovercraft and a catamaran. And the beauty with that is that we are taking the best for both technologies. It is like a hovercraft that will slide around. This one will just will act like a catamaran. We do lift, 80% of the vessel is lifted by this cushion. So we have extreme slim hulls to reduce the resistance. And then we control, we have a lot of capacity of air filling up this space underneath here. by doing that, we will be, and then we have these vents or dampers that will let out the air, and that, as I mentioned before, that is happening 15 times per second, so we are able to then control the motion of the ship. Not only that, but we are also able to decide where do we want to optimize the heave compensation. Do we want to optimize it at the bow, or do we want it to have the center of gravity, or where the people are sitting? You know, that just is to make the comfort. The reason we can do that is because the center of gravity is on the vessel is a different place, and the lift of the cushion, so we are able to play with that as well. Okay, if you could start this one, please. Okay, what this is showing you, this is because we started at the wind market before we went to the oil and gas market. So this is what they was asked to do. And this is how the vessel would behave if you are just pushing to the windmill. When we have this boarding control system on, then we are able to, then, as I mentioned before, we just fill the empty space when the vessel wants to drop, and when you want to lift, we just let the air out. Okay, so a bit of the benefits using the CES technology. It's, of course, high speed and great fuel economy. These vessels, they do about 50 knots. The military ships, they go even faster. So we have a good control of what it takes to make a vessel go so fast. Some of the wind market ships, they do like 45, so it depends on what the client is asking for then. High comfort, we think it's important. I was offshore myself for 16 years, and I've been flying with helicopters, but also with friends, commuting with boats. I think the key to convince people to start to use a ship again is to give them high comfort, and you don't want them to spend too long time on a ship. So therefore, we think it is important with high speed. When you are riding on an air cushion, that acts as a shock absorber. So it's like you have a shock absorber, so when the vessel wants to fall down, it will kind of dampen the movement. And it is, and that is what gives you the sicknesses. That is when you have the heave or the acceleration on the body. So what we see is that we don't see much seasickness on these kind of vessels, for the reason that it is much slower movement, and it's kind of riding on a soft cushion all the way. And not only that, since we are lifted out, we take 80% of the vessel out of the water, then we are not so exposed to the waves either. Okay, we say safe operability up to 90%. What we have done, and that is with the boarding control system, what we have done, we have taken one of the ProSafe platforms there, and we put a gangway on there. The reason we also provide gangways that we can put on the back of the vessel and also one on the center of the vessel, but we are struggling reaching very high. We are able to reach up to 16 meters. And also when you do 50 knots, it is like if you have ever tried to put your hand out when you're out of the window driving in a car in 100 kilometers, you feel the pressure on your hand. The last thing you really want to do is to have a gangway hit by the air in 100 or in 90 kilometers. So we try to promote to have gangways like that, but we can also carry a gangway, and we do that in some occasions. Comfort. We have clients, and I will show you some pictures later on of the comfort. In America, they want really big, heavy seats, and they want all the toys. And of course, that is a very heavy seat. The key for us is low weight, so we try to convince. We can give them a lot of comfort, but it depends on what the client wants, really. Okay, I will talk a bit about the cost for this, and also this vessel that can carry 150 people. It has a DP2 system. And reduced environmental impact due to low resistance. So we don't burn much fuel, and I'm going to show you a bit more about that. This is how it works. what I'm showing you here is that when the boarding control system is off or when it is on. And what you can see here on the top is the acceleration on the bow. We are measuring the bow, how much acceleration we have. What we see here is that as soon as we turn it on, and in this graph we decided to have, it was set to take 70% of the dampening on the bow and 30% on the center of gravity. And this is how you can see the system is performing. And then this vent valve position, what that is showing is just showing them they are off, and then when they start to work to compensate the whole vessel. Okay, if you can start this for me, please. What this is showing a catamaran, and maybe it's a bit unfair because we think that is a bit smaller than our boat. But as you can see, that is moving quite a lot compared to us, and we are then sitting here and adjusting the movement on the ship, heave compensating the vessel. So it gives you a kind of a picture how it works like. And is it fair to this other guy? I'm not sure, but at least it shows you how this system works. And it is quite good. Okay, seasickness. When we started to build it, we was asked really to find a safe way to transfer people to the windmill. And it was not so much thought about seasickness at that in the beginning. We did experience a lot. We did experience not very, or hardly non-seasickness from the crew that was on board the vessel. So then we start to measure the vessel. And after a while, we thought it was so good. So then we asked a third party to measure the vessel, and they did that for 3 months. And then it is an ISO diagram for when people get seasick. I don't know if anybody of you guys has been offshore, so if you agree to that ISO diagram, I'm not sure, but it is an ISO diagram, we said. So what we see here is this point, that was the recording, and this is really when people start to get seasick. So then what we saw is that we was far below this standard for when people start to get seasick. So, again, comfort. I said I was going to say something about fuel economy. Since this vessel is not so exposed for the resistance in water, then we will have a fuel curve like that. So that is, when we are doing like 50 knots, we will have use like 32 liter per nautical mile. If you compare that to a monohull, it do like that, and that will have 90 liter per nautical mile. So what you see here is quite cost efficient for the end buyer of this vessel, or for the end taker of the vessel, the oil companies, that we don't spend much fuel on this. And of course, if you have a long contract, it will be a lot of money for you saving fuel on this concept. Okay, what we have looked at in Brazil, we see how to transfer people and in a safe and efficient manner. And here you see 2 different systems that is available on the market today. And I believe that was the way it has been done in the past, and I was given that by ProSafe some time ago. What we did, we took the numbers for the offshore wind market because it seems like they are a bit more developed than the oil and gas market for transferring people like on smaller fast vessels. So we took the numbers for what we was allowed to do. So we said we was allowed to have a vertical G of 1.15 G. So that is the acceleration we said we was prepared to take. Then we said we will allow the pitch for up to 5 degrees, and that is from peak to peak. So, and then also the roll is 6 degrees, peak to peak. And then we was going to the campus basin to analyze the scatter diagram. What is the performance of this vessel? How much operability can we get? We was also, not only that, but we was also looking how would this vessel compare to a flotel. And what we saw, what we can do, because we can also regulate the vessel towards what we are pushing against. So what we saw, that we was able to more or less follow the flotel all the way when it is moving, except from 65 centimeters that we have to take with the gangway. So that is the rest movement that we are not able to take on this. We also looked at FPSO, and what you can see here is the yellow curve that is us. The blue curve is the blue curve is the Voyager our vessel, and the FPSO is the yellow one. And we are nearly able to follow that as well, even if that is a really, really big ship. But then, of course, for them to move, we will then follow the wave, and we will then regulate the vessel comport in accordance with the FPSO. Okay, this is the scatter diagram from Campos Basin. So what we saw, if we have a gangway like this, where we just have it so you can land on the front deck of the vessel, we are then sitting on DP2. We see that for a full year, we are able, for these criteria we have set for ourselves, that peak to peak 6 degrees, then we are able to operate the vessel 92% of the time. If we use a different system, as they use in the offshore wind market, then we are pushing towards something, then we get an extra force, then we are able to operate the vessel in the same area 94% of the year. So I think the operability is quite good, and it's proven that this active heave compensation we have on the hull is quite good. Okay, what we are also doing, this is still on the drawing board. We are doing a lot of research and development and developing these systems. But what we have done here is that we have integrated a gangway in the center of the ship, and that is to try to accommodate the flotels, because they said they had a reach at 16 meter, or 16 and 18 meter. So what we have done there, we have put a gangway on a pedestal that we are able to extend, and then so that is to hide it when we are doing this 50 knot, and then when we are alongside, we will then lift it up, swing it around, and then push it, and I will show you a drawing about that. So this is how we see we can do that. We have been told they have a landing area in this area, so then we should be able to reach that far up. We also have a gangway system at the back there, and that will have a reach at 6, 7, 8 meters from the sea level. Okay, that's a bit about comfort. That is what you can get. We are a shipyard, and we can give you kind of anything. You just ask for it, and we will put it in there. But of course, if it's too heavy, we will then advise you to keep it as light as possible. Okay, so this is why we believe that the future logistic of personnel that will be moved from helicopters towards a ship, because we think we have now a ship that is able to have a competitive speed towards a helicopter. We think it is quite comfortable, not only for seasickness, and we think we also have a good way to transfer people between the vessels and our boat. What I've also put in here, if you go to wavecraft.no, you will find a lot of information, what we have, what we do, the performance of the vessel, how we do transfer people, speed, everything. And you are free to go there and see whatever you want. And there's a lot of information there. And that's it. I'll just show you one thing. This is the material we are building the ship in. It's carbon fiber, and it's extremely light and extremely tough. And the military, they also like it because it's stealth. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Svein. I am pleased to announce that we are ahead of the schedule, so we have plenty of time for questions, and we are going to start the plenary session now. I am inviting Ronald to moderate the session and the 3 panelists from the first session. So please take a seat here if you have. Ronald. Ajuda com uma cadeira. So, may you go over there? Yeah. Sim, sim. Pode ser. Também. Tá bom. Aqui. Tá. Tá ok? Okay, the floor is open for questions.
We are open. First.
Bom dia, Emílio, empresa de Potter do Brasil. Tem uma questão, até uma solicitação de orientação ao Tiago, da NP. Eu vi que algumas das recomendações para revitalização de embarcações convertidas, se eu entendi bem, estar seguindo o design original e as peças originalmente fornecidas com essas unidades. No entanto, existem alguns equipamentos auxiliares que atuam na garantia de integridade desses ativos, que são concebidos para uma embarcação flutuante que retorna a cada 5 anos ao estaleiro. E, uma vez convertidas, elas se tornam unidades de produção estacionárias. Então, haveriam alguns sistemas onde o approach de revitalização para extensão de vida deveria ser encarado diferente do que foi concebido para o barco que foi construído inicialmente. Eu gostaria de saber onde que eu poderia comunicar-me com a ANP para fazer esse tipo de observação, para que isso seja uma sugestão, uma pista de melhoria contínua nos procedimentos de manutenção e principalmente na integridade para ativos que tiverem vida estendida.
Esqueci seu nome, desculpa.
Emílio.
Emílio, a recomendação que você viu ali na tela, ela veio da investigação do acidente Cidade de São Mateus, em que logo após a conversão, mesmo antes de entrar em operação, as pessoas tinham visto 2 coisas. Uma era que as válvulas já tinham sua vida útil, estavam muito próximo do fim da vida útil, então era para trocar e não foi trocado. E uma questão relacionada aos critérios de projeto que eram aplicados na casa de bomba, praça de máquinas daquela unidade, eram distintas dos critérios de projeto da planta de processo, nos topsides. E o que a gente estava falando, e por isso o pessoal teve que improvisar material para aplicar nessa área naval, porque não tinha disponível. Então, o que a gente diz aqui na conversão, algumas operadoras já têm até abandonado a casa de bombas, já nem tem mais utilizado. Utilizam bombas dentro dos próprios tanques de armazenamento, bombas submersas, e aí deixam de usar as bombas da casa de bombas. Essa é uma das melhores soluções que eu vejo hoje em dia, particularmente. Mas, ao adotar ainda a casa de bombas, que se faça uma reflexão em se é necessário realmente manter aqueles mesmos critérios navais, se eles servem para alguma coisa a não ser custo ali, e se mantiver por conta de custo, que uma gestão de integridade bem aplicada àqueles itens específicos, e aí assim, pode ser que você economize no CAPEX, mas no OPEX você vai perder, né? Então, essa avaliação criteriosa que aquela recomendação chama. Mas a sua pergunta em si foi o contato. Você pode mandar um e-mail para mim, tpires@anp.gov.br, ou então você pode mandar para, que eu sugiro, a revisão sgso@anp.gov.br. Revisão sentiu.
Próximo. Question. A qualquer um deles. Vamos lá.
Bom dia, meu nome é Carlos, eu sou da Petrobras, da Unidade do Espírito Santo, e durante a apresentação da ProSafe, a gente viu algumas unidades de OMS disponíveis, mas sempre nessa faixa de 500 pessoas para acomodações, né? Eu queria saber se vocês têm dados sobre OMS menores, na faixa de 200, 250, se alguém teria informação sobre a disponibilidade desse tipo de OMS no mundo, né? Não só no Brasil, mas no mundo.
Sim, obrigado. Sim, existe, mas é um mercado um pouco diferenciado. Inclusive, ProSafe opera um navio deste tamanho. Tem operado aqui no Brasil antes e seria disponível para esse tipo de trabalho, mas é um trabalho um pouco mais diferenciado, mas eu estou consciente que o Espírito Santo está trabalhando com uma demanda desse tamanho e estamos prontos.
Próximo. Não tem pergunta? É sinal que tudo foi muito bem explicado aqui. Bom, então, vamos ter perguntas aqui. Né?
My question is for Sven. Sven, you show a beautiful SES ship. High speed, and it is probably a solution to replace helicopters. My question is, did you make some logistic simulations to see what is the time or mean time or cycle time that you reach with that ships instead of helicopters?
I'm afraid I listened to the Portuguese in the beginning and I got all lost. But if I understood if I caught you right, I think what you was asking for, if we have simulated the distance from having a ship compared to a helicopter. Okay, yes we have, and it will take, of course, because a helicopter is going a bit faster than a ship. But it's I think 50 knots. That is acceptable. This is what people are prepared to stay or to working, and also I think if you want to move on water to go much faster than that, you will be exposed for some waves. So I think that is a good speed. And what we have seen on various areas is like here in Brazil, it is a kind of an expectation that you can do so many hours that you can be on board a vessel. And also other places in the world, they have a kind of a different, but it seems like between 4 and 6 hours, that is acceptable for people to stay on board a vessel like that. So, and we are able to go quite far in 4 hours or 6 hours. So, and I think also the big advantage we have compared to helicopters is that we are able to take up to 150 packs on this vessel, so we are able to transport a lot of people.
Alguma pergunta mais? Ok, quem vai fazer isso? Aqui. Passa.
Meu nome é Eduardo. Eu sou da empresa Servitec e minha pergunta é para o senhor José Fanara. E está ligado muito a esse processo de mudança tecnológica, né, que nós estamos passando hoje, né, principalmente naquelas fases de manutenção que a gente tem ainda, de manutenção muito corretiva, e para passar para essa fase de manutenção preditiva e os outros patamares, né. E o que eu tenho enfrentado como barreira, quando se fala em novas tecnologias, em todas as empresas, é que justamente você tem, no início do processo, um aumento no custo geral de produção, porque você vai introduzir novas tecnologias que, normalmente, nesse momento, tem um custo muito alto, né? E o retorno, né, o efetivo ganho, vem após um período de implantação bem mais à frente. E isso eu acho que é um desafio muito grande, porque a aprovação disso, né, é complexa. E eu tenho visto isso em algumas outras empresas que têm trabalhado, e o grande barreira, o grande desafio é isso. Como a Petrobras está trabalhando para poder iniciar esse processo de transformação com a introdução, por exemplo, de Big Data, de tecnologias de controle de segurança da informação, todo esse processo que fala a indústria 4.0.
Bom, pergunta boa. Assim, concordo com você, mas o que a gente tem visto, temos alguns exemplos de que não investir nessas tecnologias, continuar fazendo da forma tradicional, tem nos custado muito caro, e é muito mais caro do que esse investimento. Então, quando a gente, deixa eu tentar trocar em miúdos, né, quando a gente deixa de preservar nossas instalações, né, quando a gente deixa de atualizar tecnologicamente, a gente também está perdendo em produtividade e também, às vezes, a gente está perdendo em integridade. E essa perda de integridade, nós fizemos agora um levantamento recente, você deixar de preservar uma instalação, você vai ter custos da ordem de 17 vezes mais em termos de homem-hora e materiais. Então, o investimento que você faz em preservação, ele, se você não faz, você vai ter um belo de um prejuízo e talvez até inviabilizar a extensão de vida ou até a conclusão da vida útil de uma instalação offshore. Isso é ponto. Temos assim dados e fatos com instalações. Realmente, essa questão de você investir em algumas tecnologias, que algumas são muito novidadeiras, né, são muito diferentes, não estão bem sedimentadas, a gente considera que a gente está engatinhando isso na Petrobras. Se na área de manutenção, operação, a gente já tem alguma coisa, estamos com projetos de pesquisa, com universidades, com algumas empresas do mercado, mas tem muita ainda inovação que não é, vamos dizer, eficaz, né? Mas a gente vê que quando consegue sucesso, a produtividade vem e dá muito bons resultados. Mas as empresas também não têm soluções ainda, essa é a minha opinião, né, robustas para nós utilizarmos na indústria. Então, às vezes você tem que fazer alguns investimentos com tempo, né, não é só dinheiro, é tempo também, até chegar a alguma maturidade, né. Então, e nem todas as novas tecnologias valem a pena para o nosso caso. Isso é uma outra questão que a gente também está vendo, né. Você não consegue aplicar tudo na indústria do petróleo, porque essa indústria ela tem umas características peculiares e você tem que escolher bem o que você vai fazer, qual o tipo de tecnologia que vai te dar o retorno adequado, né? Mas essa questão do custo ela é importantíssima, né? Mas a gente vê que esse investimento, tentando ser mais sintético, esse investimento em tecnologia, ele dá um retorno em produtividade muito bom quando ele é bem direcionado, né?
Ok. Mauri. Hein? Tem dois a Mauri? Então eu vou pro de cabelo branco.
Obrigado aí. Pegando uma carona na pergunta do colega aqui anterior para a Petrobras, existem muitos equipamentos hoje que são usados nas plataformas que já contêm uma série de tecnologias, como a IoT, a internet das coisas, com sensores. A gente pode citar casos de geradores, compressores, turbinas e vários outros, né? E eu queria saber se, por exemplo, a Petrobras, ela já especifica que esses equipamentos já venham com esses, vamos dizer, com essa tecnologia e, é claro, associada ao resultado que ela traz de sistemas por trás disso que existem, né, para poder se tirar o resultado disso.
Pega e dá pro outro, Mauri, aquele camisa branca, tá? Vou terminar.
Olha, esse tipo que eu saiba não, tá? A gente tem agora, e para esse tipo de tecnologia que você citou, não. Mas a gente está conversando com vários fornecedores de equipamentos, turbinas, geradores, né? A gente tem mantido integrado o PI, né, que é o nosso sistema de Plant Information. Ele, com esse sistema, já temos centros de operações integrados em várias unidades de operações, e com esse sistema a gente consegue monitorar bem as máquinas, né? Mas esse outro passo a gente não intensificou, não massificou, né?
I have a question for Lars. We saw very positive projection based on technical and economical interpretations, and those numbers and projections from 2018 to 2022. And that's exactly the next 4 years where we are expecting the new government and new team to put in place new rules and directions. What's the international expectation for that political environment in Brazil in the next 4 years? And how would that lead the decisions on big investments for further on?
Thank you. So, yeah, we often get this question, how will the political environment in Brazil affect the market and investments? And we're not in a position to kind of know what the president, the new board of Petrobras, and kind of the management and all the policies, how that will affect. So my forecast and our forecast is based on the current projections, how it looks today, and it is a risked forecast. So, for instance, if Petrobras is saying that a certain project is coming online on a certain date, then maybe we are conservative in saying that some fields are delayed on average by so much. So it's not a super optimistic forecast, or there is some conservatism in there. But we do not take into account any changes in how when fields are sanctioned compared to what is communicated today. So, but that could have an effect both on the positive side and on the negative side. So, yeah.
Thanks. I come from the Costco. My colleague is here. I have two questions. One question to Mr. Michael. As a solid partner of Costco, I'd like to know, Prosef, in this very competitive situation, what's your core competence in the UMS market?
Okay, I will respond that with the Brazilian angle, and I think from a process perspective, we've been operating here since 2011. If a foreign company wants to operate in Brazil, I think it's important that you adjust to the climate here in Brazil, and that goes both when it comes to the commercial aspects, the ups and downs. You are here to stay, but it also goes with the operational side, that you operate as a Brazilian company. So I think that's our core competence here in Brazil, that we have adjusted to both the ups and downs on the commercial side, but also to the difficult operational environment that it is here in Brazil. We like that.
Thanks. Let's hard work together. The second question to Mr. Loy. You give us a very explicit information. As I recognized, you give us the forecast oil price next year. The next year, almost 75 and 80s US dollar per barrel. How you get the result in 2022? The price will return back to 65.
Yeah, so we have a whole markets team in Oslo, where the headquarters is in Norway, and they only look at this. So they look at supply and demand for oil, and we have our database with all the 65,000 fields, and every single field is producing a certain amount in 2021 and 22, and we can compare that to the demand for oil in those years. And the demand has been relatively steady, growing by around 1% per year, even through the downturn now. And they can compare supply and demand, and what we see in 2021 and 22 is that the US shale, so US onshore production, is completely taking off and will probably give an oversupply situation, so too much oil in the market, and that will push prices down in 21 and 22. But it's about $20 down, or $15. So it will have some effect, but our kind of perception is that it won't kill offshore, but it may give a slight lower growth in demand for rigs, for example, and activity in 21 and 22 than we had originally thought last year about the future. Yeah.
Alguém mais?
My questions to Michael with ProSafe. Michael, what is the difference between the new generation repair yards you are building and Concordia? That's a question one. And question two, is your plan to maintain Concordia in Brazil?
Yes, thank you very much. The main difference is that the new DP3 vessels that are operated by ProSafe, our semi-submersibles of DP3, they have a higher degree of redundancy, meaning that the reliability on the long term is higher. So it's a new generation of semi-submersibles that you will have around for the next 30, 35 years. The Concordia is of an earlier generation, but still a very modern vessel from 2005. So we intend to offer the Concordia as a very cost-effective solution to compete with vessel solutions in Brazil. And the intention is to keep the Concordia here in Brazil and work with all oil companies that will have an interest. According to Petrobras' current standards and GTD, because Petrobras typically operate with 5-year contracts, they demand a higher degree of redundancy to ensure less maintenance throughout, let's say, a 3 or 5-year contract. But for short-term contracts, I think the Concordia is a perfect fit for the likes of Shell, Equinor, and so on.
Just to complement, so Concordia is field proven in Brazil to work with FPSOs. It can. What's the uptime? You said today Petrobras 100%. What's Concordia track record to stay connected?
The same. Concordia is also today operating with 100% uptime. It operates today for MODEC at MB18, and we also have the same track record. So to emphasize the point, the new generation semi-submersibles, they will have a higher degree of reliability, but the Concordia is still a very, I would say, sufficient solution for Brazilian waters.
vai fazer pergunta nenhuma? Bem, já que estamos bem suficientes, tenho um recado aqui para passar a vocês e informá-los de que o almoço, sob patrocínio da ProSafe, será no restaurante em frente no hotel, tá certo? E todos deverão se apresentar lá com um crachá e com um ticket que será entregue a vocês ali pelo nosso pessoal de organização, tá bem? Então, um bom almoço e retornamos na parte da tarde.